In the last session, we talked about the user experience and engagement, and particularly we looked at the bounce rate, average time on site, and so on. And that means that it's very critical to have an account with Google Analytics. In the past, people would use Google Analytics to try to understand how people were navigating through their website and what pages were the most popular, and then they would enhance those pages to even more, to get more visibility in the search engines, and to also discover what keywords are driving most of their traffic to the website, and then enhance those as well in the search results. But today it's even more critical to use Google Analytics just because of the Panda updates that came along. And if you recall in the last session, we talked about the bounce rate and the user engagement and how people are interacting with your website. That's why it is very critical to use Google Analytics to analyze the data coming from your website. And what we're going to look at today is a few elements of Google Analytics. In particular, we're going to look at the landing pages, your bounce rate, how long people are staying on your website, how many pages they're visiting, and so on, and how you can use this data to help you to increase your rankings by increasing your user engagement. So let's go to one of my newer websites, maturestudentcafe.com. This is a brand new website, and I'm using that to drive traffic from basically YouTube. I haven't done any SEO on it, but for demonstration purposes, we're going to use this website. So generally, when you set up Google Analytics, and it's very easy to set it up, you can actually search for a plugin for your website and look for Google Analytics, and then just install that plugin, and it will actually extract the code and put it on every page of your website. What you will need to be able to use the plugin is to have the ID for your Google Analytics account, and then input that into the plugin itself. Once you do that, then you're all set for collecting data on a daily basis about your website visitors. So if you're getting traffic from multiple sources beyond just SEO and you're doing Twitter, Facebook, and so on, you may want to look at your traffic sources and look at the source that's providing you with the most amount of traffic. So in this case, I click on all traffic, and it tells me exactly where all of the traffic is coming from. And I'm getting more traffic from YouTube, which is understandable because I'm actually doing a lot of videos and driving traffic from YouTube to this new website. And you may want to do the same thing for your own website to discover which of the social media tools that you're using or SEO is driving the traffic to your website. The next thing I want to look at is the content. And I want to look at site content, but in particular, I want to look at landing pages. And what landing pages are, if you're not familiar with that, it's the first pages that people land on from search engines like Google. And those are critical because those are the ones that determine the task accomplishment from the search engines like Google. And it's a signal that Google is looking at. And if you recall, we discussed that in the last session. So let's take a look at the landing pages in Google Analytics here. And in particular, what I'm looking for is the bounce rate. So with the pages that Google can actually look at, they can see that I've got a bounce rate of 40.85%, 29, and so on. And basically, I have 2 pages on the website that are above 55%. It would seem that 55% is the threshold for the bounce rate that will have an effect on your rankings. If you're able to maintain your bounce rate below 55%, the chances of your rankings going higher are that much greater. So the trick here is to look at those pages that have a higher bounce rate above 55%, and then go to those pages and do everything you can to decrease the bounce rate. In the last session, we looked at intralinking throughout your website, linking pages and posts from one page to the next within your website, much like Wikipedia. And if you can do that for those pages that have a high bounce rate, then your bounce rate will certainly drop down below 55%. You may want to add a table of contents within the page too as well, and do whatever you can to add more links to the pages without overdoing it, of course, and such that it'll help people to actually click onto other pages and reduce your bounce rate. Now, one immediate factor that's really, really important to understand is that if you reduce your bounce rate, automatically you're taking care of the number of pages visited on your site. Because if they're visiting 2 or more pages on your website by reducing your bounce rate, and automatically they're visiting more pages, and also automatically they're spending more time on your website on average. So by taking care of your bounce rate, you're actually taking care of the number of pages being visited, as well as the visitor duration too as well. So those factors, those three factors together, the bounce rate, the average time on site, and the average time spent on your website, significantly help you with your rankings. And how that helps you is that the more backlinks you have leading to your website, the more effective they become because of the user experience. Nobody really knows the exact formula for the user engagement, but it's been surmised that the formula uses a damping factor that mitigates the effect of your backlinks on your rankings if you don't have a good user experience. If you have a really good user experience, then the damping factor is removed for the most part, and your external links are giving the full effect to your rankings. So to summarize this session, we looked at the bounce rate and the average pages visited, as well as the duration of the visits to our website through Google Analytics. And we looked at those landing pages that were affected by the bounce rate and that could affect our rankings too as well. And the threshold typically has been found to be 55%. If we are able to reduce our bounce rate to below 55% on our landing pages, then that would have an immediate positive impact on our rankings overall.